What's up? What's up, YouTube? Let's talk about this. DEI, you've heard it. It's a moniker for, just to me, it's the new N word, what they want to do. Okay. Yeah, that's what they want to do. They want to use the word DEI as the new N word. So I wanted to bring your attention to this. This is an email that just came out on February 7th. This email says, "Good morning, afternoon. Below is a publication that has been removed from our website and will no longer be distributed from our warehouse. If you have these publications in your regional or area offices, please remove them to prevent distribution. They should be disposed of or recycled if you have that option. If you have wallet cards that include language or can be interpreted on DEIA or gender ideology, please dispose of that as well. Please let me know if you have any questions." Frank works from OSHA. What's happening right now? As you can see, they are getting rid of these manuals. Let's just talk about these manuals. A roadmap for healthcare facilities. OSHA best practices for protecting EMS responders during treatment and transport of victim of hazardous substance release. Safety and health programs, construction. Restroom access for transgender workers, best practices. Fact sheets, OSHA vaccination and testing ETS. How can you participate? English and Spanish. OSHA best practices for hospital-based first receivers. Assigned protection factors guide for the revised respiratory protection standard. Small entity compliance for the respiratory protection standard. Occupational safety and health guidance manual for hazardous waste site activities. It was published in 1985. Guidelines for nursing homes, ergonomics for prevention of musculoskeletal disorders, improved tracking of workplace injuries and illness fact sheet, guidelines for retail grocery stores, ergonomics for the prevention of musculoskeletal disorders, OSHA best practices for hospital-based first receivers, ergonomics guidelines for shipyard guidance document, spirometry testing in occupational health programs booklets, and workplace mental health fact sheet, English and Spanish. These are the manuals that that they will dispose of. For those who don't know, OSHA stands for Occupational Health and Safety. They are the governmental agency that regulates what happens on the workforce and makes sure there is a particular standard that is followed. So I was following my good buddy, Judd Legum, on Twitter, and basically they're talking about these publications, which is 18 of them. But the thing that people need to understand is that it's not necessarily about the effectiveness. They just did a search of any words that had diversity or had diverse or had anything that was related to that. They went ahead and did it. They removed it. And Judd goes on and says, for example, one of the Purge publication is OSHA best practices for protection EMS responders during treatment and transport of victims of hazardous substance release. On page 94, the words diversity and diverse are used in context that has nothing to do with race or gender. You see my point? Nothing it has to do with race or gender. Then he goes on to say, page 10, the guidelines for nursing homes, ergonomics for prevention of musculoskeletal disorders notes development of MSDs may be related to genetic cause, gender, age, and other factors. The single use of the word gender appears to have flagged the publication for deletion. So what they did is that they just said, hey, we're just getting rid of that. It doesn't matter if it's in the context of what's needed, whether it is the word diverse doesn't necessarily mean a person. It could be diverse in the studies. It could be diverse in education. It also could be things that help genetics. In this case, genetics, gender, making the difference. So we're now going to get rid of these manuals that we need in the workplace so that it can be enforced, so that people can follow these guidelines. Now, here's the danger part that I see about this, and I don't know, maybe if there's some legal scholars out there, maybe you guys could chime in. Isn't this going to make it difficult to sue your employer if these publications and these guidelines are missing? If they're no longer using it, and that is their manual or their procedures, if they're no longer using them, wouldn't this be hard for law professionals, attorneys to use this in order to go after that employer if they don't do what they're supposed to do according to their manual? So this is, to me, is going to be such a trickle down effect, and people are going to get hurt. OSHA has been the safety net for a lot. And when I say a lot of us employees at the time, I was an employee at the time, and I needed OSHA. OSHA would protect so much. And I think people need to understand OSHA does not always mean in dangerous situations. Okay. Every job has to follow certain OSHA standards, even to a point of you having an ergonomic chair so that your body and your posture will not hurt by doing your job. Yes, there are certain guidelines that are helpful that people use and say, my laptop and my gel pad has to be ergonomically correct for my posture in order for me to feel a certain way. And if you do a lot of typing and stuff of that nature, you may develop carpal tunnel issues. And that is a very bad medical issue. A lot of people who work in jobs, and you have to wear safety glasses, and those guidelines are protected by OSHA. And why do you need safety goggles? So that something won't get in your eye. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of times, and I'm thinking in terms of an attorney, if they don't provide you these safety goggles, something gets in your eye, maybe you can go after them because their manual says if you're in this area, you're supposed to have safety goggles. But if they remove that, because in their manual may say something of diversity or gender or something, and that's removed, people are going to get hurt. And I think this is so dangerous. And this alarm should be sound loud and clear. This is horrible what the evil one and his administration is doing. They are protecting their business owners from lawsuits. This is what this is all about. We could say it's DEI, but no, this is about protecting their business partners from lawsuits, because I know that people use OSHA standards, their manuals. You got law firms who have their manuals and standards who go after these big employers or even small employers. And if you're getting rid of those things, to me, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make sure that their business, their big corporations are not getting sued. This ain't got shit to do with DEI. This has everything to do with the danger of not having the adequate amount of protection and training and health and safety in the workplace. So I don't know how you guys feel about this, but for me, I think this is completely dangerous. And I appreciate you guys listening to me go on this rant, but please check this out. This is happening. It's not headline news, because the news is only sensationalizing certain things. And we need people such as Judd and other folks out here to bring this out so that we can pass this information on. A lot of our friends and all our family members are working in unsafe conditions. People have gotten arms, limbs, and just dangers has happened to them by working. And we need OSHA to enforce these guidelines. And if we don't have them, that's going to be hell. Y'all have a good day.